Oh, you want me to start teaching about R? Why not? I'm pretty sure I'm not going to keep that consistent. Second cup of coffee. Yeah, you can see the time on the bottom right. But when it comes to chapter 0, we're going to open up a Quarto file. So you may say, what's a Quarto file within R? A Quarto file is a file type that allows you to do programming and typing. Programming and typing. So programming in the sense of writing R code, Python code, whatever it might be, as well as typing in terms of text, being able to explain your code or explain your visualization that you create. So that's kind of cool. So here I'm going to click on this, chapter 0. Okay. Well, this should say chapter 0. Yikes. And I'm not going to change it. All right, so here we go. When it comes to our basics, there's a lot of things to discuss. I'm only going to give you some elements of what's going on here in terms of R. And as things come up, as details that we might have skipped come up, I'm going to bring them up when they show up in our experience. All right, so that being the case, I'm going to click visual. So this source allows us to see the source code and everything. It looks kind of like, but I can click visual and it makes it look a little nice. And for you, some of y'all, it might have to install something, but that's fine, okay? Let it install, doesn't matter, let it install. And so let's just talk about data, the Wordle game. Raise your hand if you play Wordle. I play Wordle. We're going to use a hypothetical data set regarding Wordle where we have various information about the data. Okay, so with that being said, there are different type of data types that can be stored within R. This is a few of them. There's more of them, but I'm highlighting the main ones. So there's an integer for the different player IDs, the date that they played. It's a date type of variable. We have a character. In statistics, we may call this a categorical binary variable, but here in R, we're going to call it a character. Then we have Boolean logic, which can be either true or false. Okay, true or false. Okay, so what I can do is run this. Okay, run this. Don't embarrass me. Good. So a couple things. So in the history, it ran. Okay, that's fine. Another thing to notice, in environment, it now tells us that we have this information stored within our environment. This is key. I was at files because that's what we're working with in the last video, but I'm going to be here in environment, seeing what information I have access to. And last but not least is in the console. So here in the console, we have the information. So here, this is kind of like our calculator. We can just do player ID and press enter. And we can actually see that it shows up. Okay, cool, fantastic. All right, so let's keep on going. So when it comes to different type of data types, we have numeric or integer, and where numeric can hold decimals and integers are whole numbers. So numeric is a superset, okay, of integers, meaning that integers is it's not a math class. Integers is within numeric. Okay, you have characters for text and logical, Boolean, true or false. It's important for us to be able to work with different data types and know operations, which we'll see in a little bit, and what they can be used in terms of working with data within R. Okay. All right. So with that being the case, there are some data structures that we should be familiar with. And I like doing this. The way I'm setting this up is that I show you what this is, show you what the code looks like, and then I explain it. So here we have a vector, data frame, list, and a tibble. Honestly, we're going to primarily work with these two. If you're doing some heavy lifting, which you could, in a grad school or at the workplace, you could be working with lists. This list for Python users is not, one more time, is not, because I want to say it again. This list within R is not like the list in Python. Okay, so be aware of that. And then finally, we have a tibble. If you really get in love with R, I can see you using tibbles a lot. I primarily just use a data frame. Okay. So when it comes to vectors, at the end of the day, it's storing information of the same type. Okay. Storing information of the same type. whether it's a string or a numeric, or it could, if you have a numeric and an integer, it becomes a numeric. And then it could be text. And then here we can actually store information. So I'm going to go ahead and just run just this one with Control Enter. If you're using the Mac, Command Enter. As you can see, oh well, it's the same thing. Player IDs. Okay, well this time it's plural. All right, so that's stored there. And again, it's just a vector. But now when I run a data frame, it's going to be stored somewhere else. It's going to be stored under data. Okay, so then now if I click on this, you see where my cursor is. I click on this, boom. I now have the data frame of the variables that we ran earlier. Okay, so the syntax that I need to emphasize now, and we've kept on seeing it, but it's important for me to say it again, is the C. This means concatenate. So we're bringing things together, and that's what we use for vectors, and that's what we were doing above here in terms of different data types. And now that we have all these data types of the same as a vector, I can then store it within a data frame. I made that sound more confusing than it really is. You're just storing the information of these vectors into the data frame. Now that makes sense. Okay, so that's good. After that, what we can also do is store information into a list. So what's a list? So a list allows you to have different data types, whether it's a data frame, a vector, or even a list be within it. So now I'm storing a vector, player IDs, get up to C, and Wordle data is a data frame. Okay, so when I run this, it now formed under data, but it looks a little bit different when I click on it. It tells me I have a list, list of two different types. One is a, say double, that's why is it treating it as a double? That's very interesting. Where a double is very similar to a brain fart. I believe it is an integer. Okay, and then this is treated as a data frame, okay, with 3 rows and 4 columns. 3 rows, 4 columns. All right. And then last but not least, we have a tibble. And this tibble is going to be, it's important. This is not going to run for you all. You have to install this. Oh, wow, the first time. So my apologies. You have to install this. Okay, install. I put the hashtags in front, meaning to comment. And what comments mean is that you are not, when you run the code, it's not going to actually impact the code. So install dot, I can remove it for you all. Install dot packages, and then put in quotes. If it doesn't work, it's because you probably didn't put it in quotes. Tibble, okay. And the reason why I don't have to run it because I already have this package in my on my computer. All right, so when I run this, I now have the tibble, and it has the same characteristics as a data frame, but you can do special things with it, which we will see soon. Maybe. Okay, I don't traditionally use tibbles, but that's fine. Okay. This is a modern version. It's better for print. It's fine. We're going to use a data frame. So the importance, you can read that on your own. And then actually importing and exporting, really just importing, bringing in data into R. We need these 2 packages. Okay, that's why I first thought we were going to use packages. And so you can go ahead and run that. I'm going to comment this out because I don't need to run it, but you can run it by pressing, like earlier, the green play button. Okay, so go ahead and run that. Okay, so once you run that, you now, these 2 tools, these 2 packages, ReadXL, ReadR, allows you to bring in Excel sheets and allows you to bring in CSVs. Okay, I'm already assuming that you know what CSVs and Excel sheets are. Okay, but at the end of the day, this should be an Excel sheet. Oh, so yeah, this is the Excel sheet, City 1, City 2. And then this is the CSV. This is the CSV. Notice that Excel has 2 sheets and then CSV only has 1 sheet. Okay, so be aware of that. All right, so here, this is how we can read in these packages. Okay, I mean, read in the package, our library, sorry, and then utilize the functionality. So here we go. Boom, run it. Okay. Oh, that's good. We have an error. I forgot to say something. So in this particular situation, what it's assuming, and this is a good error to have, it's assuming that within our files, if I say get working directory, I'll say list.files, my apologies, list.files, there should be a Wordle data. But remember in the last video, we save our data into the data directory. So the reason why I'm using this project is so nifty is that if you install another package, installing packages is called here. Okay. Oh wow, I'm embarrassing myself because of the time. It's fine. Humanity was fine. Okay. Install here. How did I do that? You need to install here. You all have to install here. I'm gonna pause it. It's gonna take. Okay, so it did kind of take a while. So what I need to do is go. So I installed here. And I'm going to allow this to be an opportunity for me to teach a new thing because I don't necessarily have to use this in multiple places of the code. So what I'm going to do is use this function here, this library here, do : : So when I do : : I'm able to gain access to functions within the library. Again, that's a little bit of a complex concept, and I'll discuss that in further detail throughout the course. But using here, : here, I'll now have access to a function called here. Okay, so you may say here. That's not funny. But this allows me to save allows me to gain access to my data file, data directory, okay, and then gain access to the CSV, okay. So the arguments, that's a new word, but again, the more I talk about you'll understand it. The arguments for here is the first directory where it is, the actual directory, and then from there, the actual file name. Okay. And so when I run this, it works. So it should say Wordle from CSV, Wordle from CSV. Boom. Okay. So all you have to do is rewind that and type slowly and make sure your syntax is just like mine. You should not have an error if you save data, your files under data. Make sure the spelling's correct as well. All right, so we can do the same thing here because of time. I'm gonna play the game. What's the name of the game? Copy and paste this right here, and then right here, and this should. Why is this still giving me an error? This should work. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try. And read Excel, did it work? It did work. So notice, remember I told you that it has two cities. So by default, so my apologies right here, it has two cities. By default, it's reading city 1. If I want to gain access to city 2, all I have to do is put a comma in the read Excel and they say sheet is equal to 2. Or I could have said city is, I could have said this. I'm gonna spell it wrong I'm gonna do a wrong one so you can give me an error so you can see the error. Okay, city not found. But when I put city 2, and if you want to get both of them at the same time, keep taking the class, you'll learn hopefully how to do it. Okay, so we're almost approaching 15 minutes, which is fine. The only thing I want to say lastly is how to export a data set. It's really pretty straightforward. All you have to do is do write_CSV, okay? And I believe this should be under the readr function. Yeah, it's under the readr package. And if you run this, this is going to spit out the Wordle data export. The issue is that it's going to spit it out here, okay? It's going to spit it out here, and that's not where we want our data to be. So I would want our data, I would actually want to do it as this data // data // let's see if I did this right. Okay, boom. And then click on data. Bam. Well, that's not good. Or maybe it's, I think it's this. Oh, I think I need to do here, don't I? No, okay, now it works. Okay, it works. Good. All right, so that's it for the video. In terms of summary, I know I'm a little bit over, but I'm gonna kind of do it real fast. We went over the different data types, integers, numeric, characters, boolean, and text / string. We also went over different data structures, tables, list, vectors and data frames, import and Excel sheets as well as CSVs, and then last but not least, exports. 16 minutes, and I'm okay. Are you all energized for the next video? Okay.